Hats are important in Himalayan art because hats are the special key to being able to recognize the different Buddhist traditions, such as the yellow hat school of Buddhism is the Gelugpa. They wear a yellow pandita hat. The red hat school can be the Nyingma or Kagyu. Multicolored hats could be Sakya, but these are just a Chinese way of naming it. But within the Tibetan system itself, or Himalayan system, then we can refer to these as the lotus hat or the pandita hat, be it red or yellow or orange, and then the cap-style hat. So there's many different types of hats, and hats can be very important for identifying not only what school a painting or a sculpture might belong to, but also specialty hats can be used to recognize actually the name of a specific teacher in some cases. Because there are some unique hats which follow certain patterns, general patterns, but then can be really pinpointed to a specific person. Now, a type of hat that we haven't really talked about in the past is the bird hat. Now, the bird hat can also in some cases be called a bird crown. So whenever we talk about hats, we might also talk about crowns. It's very common in the Karma Kagyu school to refer to a lot of their hats as crowns, whereas other schools refer to hats as hats. Crowns belong to royalty, hats belong to religious figures. It's just a simple way of how some people look at it. Now, there is one smaller group of hats, which are bird hats, and these bird hats are often raven. They're often ravens, but not to be confused with the vulture feather hats of the Nyingma. That's a different subject. We're not talking about that. We're talking about hats that are either in the shape of birds or have the head and wings of birds at the crown or the crest or the peak of the hat. And we don't have a lot. We really don't. We have a small number of examples and really a short list of teachers and topics for this. So really we have to divide it in between Buddhist and Bon, first of all, the Buddhist religion and the Bon religion. So with the Buddhist religion, we have a ritual that involves the protector deity Mahakala, and this involves having a special hat that has a raven at the top, at the crown. Now, we don't have a lot of examples in art for this, but we do have an individual named Wangdu Ningpo, one of the Sakya Trizens of the very late 18th century, and in some depictions he is shown wearing a raven, black raven hat. Then we also have the Druka Jalpo, the king or the Maharaja of Bhutan. He wears a raven cap, a raven hat, that is based on this Mahakala ritual hat. Then we have another Jalpo, another kind of king, but a Tibetan king in this case. We have the Lingsang Jalpo, the king of the Lingsang tribe or clan, which is associated with Gesar. And the Lingsang Jalpo, the Lingsang king, wears a peacock hat. So these are really the Buddhist hats that we know of. And no, I've not done an exhaustive search of bird hats in Himalayan art. These are just the ones that I've come across over the last number of years. Now, for the Bon religion, we have a lot more examples, but I can't tell you where all of these examples are coming from. I only really know of two sources. Now, there's no central figure that I found yet for a deity where. Now, that's the other important thing. Is in Bon it's retinue figures from meditational deities that wear a bird hat, and there's a variety of birds. It's not limited to the raven and the peacock, such as in the Buddhist Himalayan tradition. So what we have is we have the Welse Ngampa meditational deity, and he has at least one retinue figure that wears a hat with at least 4, maybe more birds' heads. So it's a hat, it's a crown. It depends how it's described in the text. Now, in a second text, we have the Durse Lasung. The Durse Lasung is used for funerary rituals, and it has at least 2 of the retinue figures wear bird hats. Many of the figures wear bird clothing, and quite a number of the figures also wear the Kyung horns, the horns of the Kyung bird, the king of birds within the Bon religion. So we have quite an array in Bon art, but in Buddhist art we're far more limited to just a few examples. So press the like button, you can subscribe, you can also join HAR on Patreon, and you can help support the work we do. We have unpublished videos and articles on Patreon that are not available yet on the main YouTube channel.